Hi, welcome to Simply NAS Media. Today we're going to take a look at the Thecus N8900. This is an 8-bay Rackmount unit meant for large-scale enterprise. It comes with an i3 processor at 3.3 GHz. Comes with 8 GB of RAM stock, can be upgraded to 16 GB of RAM. There is no official path to upgrade RAM, it is just possible. There are no official Thecus RAM upgrades, etc. at the start. You'd have to open up, find out what RAM is currently being used and find an applicable spec. Of course, you could always just order the RAM from us and have us pre-install it before we ship it to you as well. That being said, taking a look at the NAS, very simple. The front of the NAS actually features a cage. This is done to protect your hard drives from shipping, and also while you're in your server room. Nobody can press at the hard drives. They do lock, well, they don't lock, sorry, they do screw shut. The hard drive bays in themselves, if you open them up, taking a look, they come out. You can lock the hard drive bays. There's also the LCD at the front that gives you your status indicators, power buttons next to it. The hard drives do have LED indicators on them. Green means okay, red means bad. Bringing this back up. Remember, you can lock this as well. So you can lock your hard drive trays, but you can also close these up. That being said, that's basically the layout in the front of the unit. If I turn you around, we'll take you to the back of the unit, take a look at that, and then we can talk about the features of the NAS. Okay, taking a look at the back of the NAS, this is where the Thecus gets a little bit more fun. You've got your general power supply here on the right here. Two power supplies, redundant power supply. If one fails, pull the other one out, send it off to Thecus, I'll send you one back. So general replacement services most Rackmount units do have. In the middle here you've got your RJ45s, your USB ports. These are of course what they are. The RJ45s can be link aggregated. There is also an eSATA port there, but I mean, really, we don't generally use eSATA anymore. If you've got an eSATA hard drive, by all means connect it up to the NAS. Remember, that doesn't extend the functionality of the hard drive bays. It doesn't make this into a 9-bay NAS, for instance, if you plug in one external hard drive. It's purely to back up the data to and from the NAS. Aside from that, taking a look at the RJ45s, you can link aggregate them. Thecus's biggest advantage is they give you quite a few more expansion slots. So you can add more 1 gig network cards. You can also, let's say, add a couple of 10 gig cards here and there. Generally, in terms of network setup, we have people that will only add one network card in terms of 10 gig connectivity. And then they'll add more expansion units with the RJ45s. Typically on the Rackmount, we normally get 4 RJ45s, so it's a little bit less on the Thecus. Because of that, they have given you quite a few more expansion slots. There is also a battery backup slot in here that allows you to install a battery backup unit directly into the NAS. Now, don't expect this battery backup to keep your NAS running when the power goes out. It's simply there so you can shut down your NAS safely so it doesn't crash. If you do want something that will keep your NAS going, it's better to buy an industrial grade battery backup unit for outside of the NAS to connect it up to the PSU. The internal one's not really going to keep you going for much else aside from a safe shutdown. Do bear in mind, if you do use the internal battery backup and the power does go out, do shut down quickly, because it won't be able to stay up that much longer either, and you'll neglect the point of having a battery backup if you don't shut it down quickly, because the unit will just crash on you. Generally, NASes that lose power like that and they crash, you don't generally lose data, but we always want you to safeguard yourself. It's normally very hard for a NAS to, let's say, crash from a power loss and not come back up. It's not normally an issue we occur that we've been through, but that being said, it's always better to be safe than to be sorry. Always install a battery backup unit to your NAS, be it external, be it internal. We'll swing you back around to the front so you can just take a look at the prettiness of the unit while I talk to you more about the features. Thank you. Okay, that was the back of the NAS. Speaking a little bit further about the actual features of the NAS now as opposed to the hardware. Thecus support volume expansion. So basically I filled up my 8-bay NAS. You can buy an expansion unit and you can expand that current volume as opposed to having to create a new volume. Just helps you on the fly. I believe you can add up to 3 expansion units to this 8-bay. The 16-bay will take, I think, up to 8. That being said, that's one of the features of Thecus. The other feature will be, of course, this is Hyper-V Zen server, VMware compliant. It'll work absolutely fine with that current infrastructure. You can use this to backload all of your data to it. High availability is also an option. High availability on a NAS is very finicky. You have to have exactly the identical NAS, exactly the identical configuration, exactly the identical setup. So your hard drives, your network configuration, your settings for the NAS in itself, and of course the 8900 all have to be the same. That being said, once you've done that, you connect each NAS up to each other via network connectivity, and you set up your HA and have your heartbeat going. What we found though on Thecus is the heartbeat doesn't always stay live. That causes you a major issue when it comes to high availability because it requires that heartbeat. That heartbeat is what keeps the NAS going and keeps it backing up to the failover unit. HA is important for the simple reason failover is automatic. But that being said, if the heartbeat's not always going to stay alive, it's negated the need to do the HA. So what we recommend is doing rsync. Rsync has a mode enabled in the Thecus that specifically allow for real-time replication. It's probably better to do that because that way at least your replication does happen. The failover is not automatic, you have to change IP addresses, but what we say is always have a backup of your main NAS. So what you'll do is you'll go into the Thecus, you'll back up your configuration settings and save that somewhere, let's say, well, not on the NAS because the NAS is what's going to fail on you, that's what you're failing over for, but let's say keep it on the network administrator's desktop, keep it on the server you may have. Main reason for that is if you do utilize the rsync replication, if this main unit does fail for whatever reason and you want to bring the second unit in, all you'll have to do is load that configuration file and that second unit will take over as though it was the first. You don't have to change anyone's map network drives, you don't have to do anything of the sort there. Always do set up the NASes on a static environment in a large-scale enterprise or a mid-scale enterprise business. Main reason being you do not want the IP address to carry on changing when you reset the NAS. The NASes typically do not need rebooting, we recommend you reboot every 2 days. For the simple reason you clear the cache and the NAS runs faster. If your NAS slows down, then that's generally what you need, a reboot. Because remember, when you start transferring data 2 and 4, the RAM's filling up, the random access memory is full, you need to reset the cache, you need to reset to rock and roll. So we'll normally say shut down, pull out the power cables for about a minute or so and power it back up. That'll reset your cache and let your unit perform at the optimum performance that you had expected it to. But again, HA is an option, but rsync is the better option at the moment. That may change in the future with firmware upgrades, that may change in the future with different hardware. But it's not really an option you can do right now. If you do want some sort of HA infrastructure, you have to buy two 8900s now. We have had plenty of cases where customers have come to us and said, I'm going to buy this one box now and then I'll buy another box a year later and do HA. The box does not exist anymore. The whole platform of HA disappears because of that, because the hardware has got to be the same. Aside from that, it's got your general other features like SCSI connectivity, connect up via local on a server, that way it shows up as local drive. NFS support is there, which is very important, of course, for your VMware's at Citrix and Zen server environments. Aside from that, it's your general NAS. File serving, remote access is available. They do not have a cloud service like the other brands like QNAP and Synology. Here you will have to buy a VPN and utilize it, but I mean, at the end of the day, that is a more secure method of doing everything. Aside from that, that's the N8900. We hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, subscribe to our channel, like our videos if you enjoyed the content, and leave us a comment and suggestions if you've got any other videos you'd like us to do, or if you've got any suggestions for the current videos we've done, if something else you'd like to take a look at. Of course, you can also give us a call, 407-960-4690, or email us at sales@simplynas.com. Thank you, have a wonderful day.